Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Strange Monkey, this is Digital Jungle Gaming. Now before we get into the first WCW Nitro, just a couple of notes here. First up, Tyler Breeze showed up backstage, wanted to know if he could hang out. He doesn't know anybody in the company, he just happens to live in the area. So I said sure, why not, come hang out, who knows, maybe we'll hire him in the future. After that, Kurt Angle held class for a couple of his people. That's fine. Let him do that. After that, FTR, messing around with Jonathan Gresham, almost got into a fight, but didn't quite get there. Head of talent relation, Jim Cornette, decided to just let that one slide. Then, after that, our last note before we get to the show, Tennille Dashwood. She is on our roster, and she didn't show up to a scheduled meeting with a road agent. I believe she got fined for that one. Jim, good old Jim, he fucking fined her. Alright, let's get the show started. First, we have one pre-show match. I'd meant to book two. Don't know, I forgot the other one, but anyway, so the one pre-show match we have is Metallic versus LA Park Jr. or La Park Jr. versus Samurai del Sol. Now, the only really thing of note here is and I forgot to take a screenshot of the notification, but Metallic does not actually work for us. He just showed up, very similar to Tyler Breeze, but instead of wanting to hang out, he wanted to know if he could work tonight. So this time around, I said sure, and I put him on the pre-show, so I hope he appreciated that. Now, for our opening segment, we have Eric Bischoff comes out and, addresses the crowd. He wants to thank everyone, including our commentary staff, which is, Jonathan Coachman, Michael Cole, and Joey Styles. Wait, did I have Styles or did I put Ronaldo? I don't remember. Either way, he thanks them. Thanks to all the fans for being here. He, thanks Shane McMahon for making this possible and giving them all a second chance, and mentions how Shane prefers to be more of a behind-the-scenes type of guy. So other than, big events or, something, I don't know, out of ordinary circumstances, Shane won't be around much. Thanks Jim, for being part of the team. Jim Cornette also mentions how he doesn't want to be on TV all that much either. He prefers being behind the scenes. Other than that, he just says he wants all the fans to enjoy the show, and he'll be keeping a close eye on the matches himself, just to gauge to see where people should belong as far as a title hunt. After that, we have our first match of the night, Nick Nemeth versus Alexander Hammerstone. And in a surprise, well, I don't know, maybe depending, not a surprise if you're a big fan of Nick, but Nick picks up the win here tonight over Hammerstone. All right. And then after that, here we have a backstage interview with Austin Theory and Jojo Offerman, where he, is putting himself over. But then they're suddenly interrupted by none other than Ron Killings, who seems really confused on where he's at. He walks up and he sees Theory. He's like, oh, thank God, someone I recognize. He's like, hey, dog, this place is weird. This place is like, it's like there's something different. What happened around here? I see some people that I recognize, but there's a lot of different people, and, everything looks different. Theory gets annoyed at him. He's like, like, you idiot, we're in a different place. We don't, we're not at the old place anymore. And Ron's just not getting it. So, frustrated, he offers him to, face him in a match and, maybe knock his marbles straight and get something going up there. So we get out to the ring, and here we have Austin Theory picking up the win over Ron Killings after an A-Town down. Only really good thing of note is that they have good chemistry here working together, so I'm probably going to push them in a feud moving forward. See what kind of ratings we can get out of these two. Next up, the music hits, and who else comes out but Ric Flair. And right close by him is his daughter, going here by her real name, Ashley Flair. So They get out to the ring, and Rick starts cutting a promo saying how WCW has always been and will always be Flair country. And with that, he passes the mic off to his daughter, where Ashley, formerly known as Charlotte, goes on to say that that's right, that this is Flair country, and she's there to make sure that that continues to be Flair country. And she basically is here to put the rest of the women's locker room and on notice and say that she's going for the title and she's going to be the number one woman there. Continuing on from there, now we have the match where AJ Mendez picked up the win over Britt Baker. Now this did really poorly, and you'll see there's some negative notes there. That's because when I was setting up WCW, I forgot to add a women's division. And so this match was no good because the crowd was not expecting any women's matches at all. But that's all right. I've got that taken care of now, so we don't have to worry about that. Then, right after that, we have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage going here in WCW by the tag team name of Featured Attraction. They're just back there, getting their game plan going together, talking about the tag title scene, and who else but FTR pops up, and they quickly get into a heated discussion about who's the better tag team, which leads them to, the Featured Attraction challenging FTR to a match. Out in the ring, Featured Attraction pick up the win over FTR using a lot of, underhanded tactics, quite a bit of cheating, stuff of that nature. So they pick up the win and quickly make their exit from the ring and run to the back, leaving FTR just dumbfounded, just standing there in the middle of the ring. After FTR makes their way out of the ring, we get a video package, and it's of none other than Sting, and he's once again back up in the rafters of WCW, looking down on all the action. It doesn't last long, and Sting doesn't say anything. It kind of just video package is a shot of him looking down on everything that's going on, and that's that. We move on without any further explanation on that part from Sting. Okay, so the ratings for this match aren't the best, but you know what? They're not the worst either. And despite those ratings, Sheamus and Samoa Joe managed to put on a banger of a match. So that's good enough for me. I'm happy with that, and we'll see what they can do moving forward. But yeah, they were both in an amazing form. I mean, the referee didn't get great marks for his refereeing skills or gimmick, whatever. But that's whatever. That's just a referee. Don't worry about him. In a segment that went over really well with the crowd, Steve Austin came out to talk to everyone with a while. Get a little bit of the what chants going on. Basically, he just came out and wanted to announce the first WCW pay-per-view that was going to be happening at the last Sunday of the month. I forget the date at the moment, but last Sunday of the month, WCW presents Sold Out, SOUL, like your soul. And so they did all that. And yeah, this crowd enjoyed the segment with Steve Austin very much. This match didn't go off so well. I didn't really expect a technical masterclass in wrestling from these two, but Moose was off his game. Jim Cornette didn't do that great of a job as the road agent. The match was designed to lift the crowd, but they were already pretty hot coming in from all the other stuff earlier in the show. But at the end they were still hot, so that's all that matters. But yeah, not our best match being booked here. But again, like I said, I didn't expect anything amazing from these two, but I did expect something a little bit better. But that's my fault in the booking. I should have done something different instead of lifting the crowd by that point. But all right, that was Jay White picking up the win over Moose. For our next segment, we go to backstage where JoJo is standing with Kenny Omega. Kenny basically says he's there to put the whole locker room on notice. He's there to be number one, not anything less. And he says it'd be probably wise for everyone out there to watch their backs because he's coming for that number one spot. Here on this one, we had a real good match. AJ Styles picked up the win over Zack Sabre Jr. Crowd rating wasn't as high as I would have liked, but it's whatever. It's okay. We got pretty decent ratings on everything else, the other two, besides the crowd reaction, but they did a great job. I mean, color commentary could have done better, but we'll work on that for the next ones coming up. I don't know, maybe we'll get someone else, or who knows, we'll see. But other than that, yeah, no real complaints with that one. AJ Styles again picking up the win here on this one. Then to finish off the night, as AJ is celebrating his victory and getting ready to leave the ring, out of nowhere Omega comes out and just viciously and brutally assaults AJ, and just leaves him lying crumpled up in a heap in the ring. And Omega's yelling at him, and AJ said, I told you, I warned everybody that I'm out here to be the best, and everyone should watch their backs, and you just didn't listen, so that's what happens. Omega ends off the night, ends the show, with 1 foot on AJ's back, hand raised in the air in victory, and closes out the show. So there we have it. There's our first WCW Nitro back. Feedback has been good for the first one. We drew 5,215 fans live at the gate. On the WCW network, it was watched by 4,334,349 viewers. So, we're very happy with that. And then, just because we did a pretty decent show, first show coming back, there had to be some sort of controversy, and we got it here. Completely ruining my future plans coming up also. I mean, well, not, I guess, ruin them, but, forced me to change things coming up that I had planned. Charlie Haas was here backstage with us, but he went and got himself OD'd. He's fine. He didn't die. He's going to recover, but he's going to be out for several months. So there goes future plans I had for Charlie Haas. Also, now WCW is rocked by this scandal. Everyone's going to be watching us in our drug policies coming up. But there you have it. There was the show, everyone. Thanks for joining me. If you could, please like and subscribe to stay updated for future episodes, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you.